first question, what is 25% of 87? So you have $87. I'm taking, sorry, not 25. I'm taking 28.5% from you. How much do I take? So I saw a lot of you guys doing percent proportions for this. So again, remember, percent goes on top. So we write 28.5 over here, right? So when you're using a percent proportion, when you write the percent, you're actually writing the percent. You're not changing to a decimal. So of 87, so remember that of goes over here. So let me just write. So percent goes here, 100 goes here, is of, right? So of 87, so that tells me that 87 is at the bottom, or if you want to think, part total, and again, percent over 100. Same proportion, right? So if you understand which one is a part and understand which one is a total, use this one. If you want to, the sentence uses is and of, and this, you can use this one as well. They're the same thing, except that, you know, you recognize the parts differently. All right, so you have $87. I take 28% away from you. So here's my x. Cross multiply, 100x equals, I gotta use a calculator. 87 times 28.5, and that gives me 2,479.5, which I'm going to divide by 100, and x equals 24. You're going to have this in your, what do you call, in your calculator, right? So we're going to round this to nearest hundred, so cut it off here, and that becomes 24.8. Okay. If you don't want to use percent proportion, you use the percent equation. A stands for part, P stands for percent, and this is the total or the base. So we're looking for the part here. What number is 28% of 87, right? So A is my unknown. The percent, this one I'm going to change to a decimal. And the whole is 87, right? So you're taking 28.5% of 87, and this gives you a more straight answer. You get, what do you call it? 20, that's like 0.25 times 87. You get 24.795. Actually, you get the same answer, right? And again, you round it, 24.8. Choose whichever way you like. 2, what percent? So again, what percent? This percent here, that's going to be my, right, my unknown. So I'm going to write x. 100 goes down here. What percent of 98.54 is 27? So 27 is my part, right? A is 27. And obviously 98.54. All right, so that's your question. Again, cross multiply. So you get 2700x. Sorry, 2700. Cross multiply these two. And then you get 98.54x. Divide both sides by 98.54. I think personally the percent proportion gives you more work. So cross multiply. Wait, what am I doing? Sorry. If you cross multiply, you get 2700, and then right now you gotta divide both sides by 98.54. That's what I was doing. And 2700 divided by 98.54 equals, stupid calculator. 2700 divided by 98.54 equals 27. 27.4% rounded. Sorry, 27.4. That's nowhere near what I wrote. 27.4%. Okay, and that's already in percent form. Next one, and again, if you use the percent proportion, percent is your unknown, right? What was the whole? The total was 98.54. Part that you took was 27. So what percent did you take? Well, divide by 98.54, both sides. That goes away, and P equals 27 divided by 98.54, and you're going to get 27 divided by 98.54, and you're going to get, as a decimal, 0.274000, etc. We're going to multiply that by 100, right? Multiply that by 100, move the decimal 2 over, you get 27.4. You get the same exact answer. But I think there's less work here. Yeah, up to you. 4. So Tina buys a sweater. Right, so again, she buys a sweater. The discount's 45%. So again, if you have a sweater, right now, this is 100% of your sweater. And 100% of the sweater means you pay $23.34. Think about what's happening if they give you a discount. So they're throwing it, they're taking away 10, 20, 30, 40, 45. This much is gone, right? So if they take 45% away, you're left with 55%. So what is that price at 55%? That's what they're asking here. They're not asking you how much they took away from you. They're asking you, okay, so they gave you a discount. You're left with 55. You have to still pay for this, right? This you have to pay for, right there. So how much do you pay for? Well, this is just simply 23.34, and you're gonna multiply that by 55%, but change it to a decimal, 0.55. That's it. So 23.34 times 0.55, it's gonna give you, I swear to God, this calculator turns off knowingly. 23.34 times 0.55 means that you end up paying $12.84 rounded. That's what you're going to pay at the register, right? Because so now so again, this question you're multiplying by 55% because that's what's left over after 45% is taken away from you, right? This is taken away from you, and this is pay. You have to pay for this section, right? This whole section you have to pay, so you end up paying 55. Now, the next set question here is very similar, but a little bit. So here's 0%, 100%. You're currently responsible for $28.88, which is the whole thing, right? You have to pay for this whole thing. So somebody, again, the store came or you got a coupon and they took 10, 20, 30, 40, 45. So again, same thing like the last question. This you pay. This was taken away from you, right? Taken away from you. So the 45% was taken away from you. So let me write 45% here. This was taken away from you, and this 55% that's left over, you have to pay. But the question asked, what was the discount? So how much in terms of money was taken away? So they took this much away. 45% away was taken away. How much is that out of the 28.88? Well, let's figure it out. So this time, in this question, we multiply by the actual discount times 0.45, and that's going to tell us how much was taken away from us. So 28.88 times 0.45 is going to give us rounded, well, it's going to say in your calculator 12.996, and you're going to round that to $13. So $13 was taken away from you, right? And then whatever. So from 28.88 minus 13, right? That's was the discount, the taken away or discount. All right, so a little different from question 4 to 5, and that helps you answer the next question. Okay. 7. So 7, you have to think a little bit. So here is the toy. 0, 100%. So right now there's no discount. You go to the store and you have to pay $46.79. Right? But apparently you have a coupon. So first one says 10%. So they're going to take 10% away. So if they take 10% away, guess what? You got to pay for 90% of the discount. 90% that's left over. So let's find that number. So 46.79 times 90%, because that's what you're paying for, is 0.9. It's going to give you what you have to pay. So 46.79 times 0.9. Ta-da! You're now responsible for $42.11. Right? So, but that's not the end of the question. Right? So let me just write over here that we did 46.79. We multiplied that by 0.9. Right? That's what we did. And we got 42.11, correct? So now this scenario is no longer applicable. Right? So your new price is 42.11. So again, imagine you have to draw a brand new bar. You don't have to. I'm just trying to. So your brand new bar, this is 0. That's 100%. So now This is your new 100%. You're responsible for all of this. Okay? So you start all over. So pretend you start all over, right? So you start all over, right? New bar, 100%. Now from here, they're going to take 18%. So let's take 10, 15, 16, 17, 18. 18% was taken away from you. So if 18% is taken away from you, you're left with what? Yes, 82. So this is going in the garbage, and you have to pay for 82%. Right? But it's 82% from who? From 4211. So we're going to go 42.11 times 0.82. That you're going to get, let's see, 42.11 times 0.82. It's going to give you 34.53. So what do? We initially multiplied these two numbers. We got 4211, right? And then we multiplied that by 0.82, right? And we got 34.53. Correct? So again, everything's gone. Erase everything. If you're doing this step by step, right? Everything's gone. And if you want to draw a new bar model, here's 0. There's 100%. And now your 100% is $34.53. That's what you have to pay. So this is the price after 2 discounts. So everything, so it doesn't matter, right? So after 2 discounts, this is your new price and this is your new bar. Now you got to pay for tax, and tax is 7.5. So this is a tax. So if you pay only 100%, you're paying $34.53. But unfortunately, there's tax, which is going to take that 100. And if you add 7.5, it's going to take you to 107.5. Let me just shift some of these numbers over here. So 100% of your toy now is $34.53, but you're missing this value. What's 107%, 107.5% of $34.53? So that means it's the 100% that you were going to pay for plus this 7%. So we're going to multiply the $34.53 times, you can't multiply by 7.5. Right, the percent, because if you multiply by 7.5%, you actually get what your tax was. But I don't want to know what the tax was. I want to know what the price is with the tax. So we're going to multiply that by 107.5%. Move the decimal 2 over. We get 1.075. So our price with tax, it's obviously going to be more than 34.53. 34.53 times 1.075. That's going to take us to $37.20. Sorry, and 12 cents. So what did I do last? I multiplied 37 times, I'll put this in parentheses, 1.075. So the shortcut to this, and I did it in parts, was to just take your 46.79, multiply by your first discount. Your first discount was 10%, which means I have to pay for 90%, or 0.9. Then multiply by the second discount, right? The price of my item after the second discount, which if they give me an 18% discount, that means I'm left to pay for 82% of my total. And then I have to pay for tax. And then, like I said, tax, remember what happens to tax? We add on, right? That 7.5% is added to the 100% that you are going to pay for, and that becomes 1.075. So the quick way of doing this was multiplying those 4 numbers, and let's see if we get 37.12. So 46.79 times 0.9 times 0.82 times 1.075. Ta-da! You get $37.12. So you could have just done this. I would have given you the same exact answer. All right, let's go to the AirPod. 0%, 100%. This is 229. So as of now, think about it. If you pay for 100% of the value, you pay $229. Okay, but there's New York City tax. So we're going to take that, and we have to add a little bit of tax. Here's your tax. So 8.8875 is going to take 100. If you do 100% plus that, you get 108.8875%. right? So the 108.8875 includes the 100%, right? The iPod itself and the tax. So this price here is AirPod plus the tax. So if you take 229 and you multiply it by this value here, 108.8875%, which you gotta change to a decimal, you gotta multiply by 1.088875, right? So if you multiply that, you're gonna get 229 times 1.088875. You're gonna get a little bit above that. You're gonna get $249.35. That's the price of the iPod plus the taxes. Okay. Now, if the question, let me just add on to the question here. The question said, hey, what was the tax? So forget all that. It didn't say find the total price and just says what was the tax. Well, let's draw this again. So again, here is my AirPod, 0%, 100%. Right, and 100% of the AirPod is $229. So if they said, hey, just tell me how much would the tax be? Well, the tax is this little chunk right here, right? And that's, remember, it's 100% plus the 8.875 is going to take us to 108.8875%. Sorry about that. So now the thing is, here's my 229, and they're asking you, hey, how much is this? Just this chunk. What's the tax? Is it $5? Is it $6? Is it $7? What is it? Well, in this case, because they're asking us for a tax, I'm not multiplying that by 108.8875. You're going to multiply it by this guy right here, right? That's the tax. So in this case, let's move the decimal 2 over. We get 0.088875. Sorry about that. So 229 times 0.088875, and the tax on this iPod was $20.35. So I hope you see a difference between what happens when you multiply by just this, the tax itself, you actually just get the tax, or if you multiply by this when it's added to 100, which becomes 108.8875. And that, in this case, is the price of the iPod plus the taxes. Okay. Okay, Tiago. All right, so this one, let's do it more direct. You have he's buying a set of golf clubs. He has a discount 72%. So what's happening first? So if he has a discount of 22%, that means so here's the price, here's 100%. So if they take 10, 20, 21, 22, if they take this out, right, he still has to pay for 78%. So there you go. He has to pay, well, I'm not going to write 78%, but I'm going to put 0.78%. There. If you multiply these two, right, the product will give you your price. So your price was here, it dropped, right? So now there's your drop, right? So now you're there. Whatever the number is, it doesn't matter. I'm not going to multiply right now, but you could. But if you multiply those two, you're going to get a value less than 278.87. You're going to get a value that is the discounted price. Now, and then the product of that, because it's asking us for the, excuse me, final cost, right? Once you multiply by this, we gotta multiply our product by the by the price with the tax. So we're gonna multiply that by 1.0925. Let's multiply these two. 87. Shoot. So if you multiply that, here's your discounted price. Now round. So if you look at the picture, right, what we just found was this part in here. That's $217.32. Right? You took a discount 22%. You're responsible for 78. So your new price is this. So what you have to do is now start all over. Erase everything, draw a new bar graph. I mean, you don't have to draw it. I'm just right, and then we start again. So right now, after the discount, I'm gonna pay for the whole price, right? And my whole price, it's now $217.32. Now we gotta pay taxes. Taxes here, it's 9.25, which is gonna take. So if you add 100 to 9.25, you go to 109.25. Let me erase that. 217.32 is over here. But they're asking you here, what's that price? Right? So 217.32. If you multiply it by 9.25%, it's going to give you what the tax is, and then you have to add it to 17.32. But if you want to go a more direct route, you're going to multiply that by, change this to a decimal, right? You're going to match this corner with this corner. So multiply that by 1.0925. There. Times 1.0925 is going to give you this corner right here, which is 237.42. So the total price is 237.42. Okay, so that's doing in steps. I know some of you already, you could have just taken 278.87 multiplied by the discount, and then multiplied by the price including the tax. There, multiply those three, you would have got the same number over here. Okay, so let's do it more direct. Here's my price of the camera right now. The cameras were marked down, and I know we forgot that word. So if marked down for 35%, that means they took off 35%, which means we're still going to pay for 65%, right? And then, so that's the markdown, and then you're gonna multiply that by the markup. Markup is your, so again, if you think about this, here is your item right now, right? Markup means that to the 100%, you increased it. In this case, we increased it by 45%, which is going to take us to here. All right, so the last part is to multiply by not 145%, but 1.45. Okay, so that's the real quick way of doing it. And you get $424.34. That's the price of the camera. All right, now with tip, you have to unfortunately do it differently. You can't just do it all at once. I have, sorry, might be. Oh no. Oh, what the heck? I made a cup noodles here, but all right. I can eat and do this at the same time. We have food. Food, tax, and tip. So unfortunately, we don't tip on food plus tax, right? We only tip on the food. I mean, that's what we should do, but every time you get a bill from a restaurant and they give you, they actually calculate the tip for you, ironically, when they calculate that tip, they calculate the tip on the food and tax total, which they shouldn't. So, food was 64.87. Now in this case, I want to know what 7.45% is. Right? So 64.87 times, and I'm actually going to multiply by this. Move the decimal 2 over. 0.0745. So that's actually going to give me the amount of tax that's going to be charged for me. 64.87 times 0.0745 It's going to give me rounded 4.83. So this is how much tax I'm being charged. Now, 64.87. Now, if you decide, so if the question was just food and tax, there was no tip, and you just wanted to know the total, you would have multiplied. Remember, you would have added 100% plus 7.45%. That would have given you 107.45%. Move the decimal 2 over, you would have gotten 1.0745. So, if the question didn't say anything about tip, and you just wanted the total, you would have multiplied 64.87 times 1.0745, and you would have gotten 69.7. So that would have been the food and the tip included. Right? I'm just doing that to show you the difference of what happens of multiplying by the actual tax percentage or the tax plus 100%, which would give you the total plus the tax. So this is, let me erase that if I confuse it. So we figure out what the tax is. Now we got to do the tip. So again, 64.87 was your food times the tip. The tip was 18%. Change it to a decimal. Times 18%, and the tip itself is going to be $11.68 round. Add it up. You can do that. You don't need me for that. 12. So let's follow what Amber's doing. Amber bought something at a flea market for $35. She's going to raise the price by $28, right? So what's the price that she would sell it at? Well, in this case, I mean, think about it. Here's 100%, which is $35. She's going to raise that by 28%. So she's going to take this to 100. So that's what we're looking for. What's that price there? Right? So let me put percent here. So if you raise it by 28%, you're going to multiply that by 1.28. Right? So let's multiply 35 times 1.28. It means that the new price of the card is now $44.80 on eBay. So you're the guy who buys it on eBay from her. So you're gonna be paying $44.80. But for you, you don't know that she bought it for 35. You don't know nothing. The only thing you know is that right now for you, that's what things look like. 44.8. Right? You have to pay for 100%. And that, unfortunately for you, there's a little bit of taxes, so we're gonna push this bar a little bit out. It's 6.15, so 100 plus 6.15 is 106.15, and that's the price you're looking for. So at 106.15%, what's the price of the card? Well, now take that and multiply by 1.06, because you move the decimal 2 over, and you get apparently $47.56. Okay. So again, you don't have to do it in 2 steps like I did. I'm just me, or those of you who want to do it. 35 times 0.28. Right, that should have been sorry, not 0.28. 35 times 1.28 because it was a markup, and then times 1.0615. There. Multiply these 3 numbers, you should have gotten that. 13. Tim's weight increased by 17% during the last month. His original weight was 17.56. So then again, this one you didn't have to use percentage change. You could have. So I'll do it both ways. So, and think about what's happening here. Here is 0. This is 100%. Right now at 100%, Tim is 75.6 pounds. Right? So he gained a little bit of weight. Right? 17%. So that's going to take us to 117. And this is the number that's missing. So what are you going to do? 75.6 times 1.17. That'd been fine. 75.6 times 1.17. That's going to give you, so Timmy went to 84 pounds, 88, sorry, 0.45 pounds. Now, could have used percentage change here. So remember, new minus old over old. So the percent was 17%. It's positive because it's an increase. So the new weight, we don't know. So let's call that X. The old weight, I knew, 75.6 divided by 7.6. Cross multiply. Right, so maybe this 0.17 times 75.6. If you multiply, you get 12.852 over here. Right, if you cross multiply these two, and the other one you just get X minus 75.6. It's a one-step equation. We're going to add 75.6 to both sides. That goes away. X comes down, and if you, let's see, you get 2, you get a 5, you get a 4, you get an 8, 88.452. I think that's what we got before. Cameron's lunch bill was $53. He left $63. That included a tip. What was percent of tip? Again, percent new minus old. So the new price is 63. The old price was his lunch price was out the tip. There you go. That's it. You're subtracting and then dividing. 63 minus 53.24. Enter, divided by 53.24. You're going to get a decimal. Equals 0.833 something. Right? Let's move the decimal 2 over. You get 18 point. This is how much you left into 18.33%. Apple stock dropped by 3.5%. So percent new minus old over old. So I have the percent. I'm going to write 0.035, and please don't forget that it's negative because it was a drop. At the beginning of the day was 149. What was the price at the end of the day? So I don't know the new price. I know the old price. So N is going to be, I call it N. The old price 149.76, and this is 149.76. You cross multiply 149.76 times 0.035 equals negative 5.2416 equals N minus 149.76. We're going to add 149.76 to both sides. Right, that goes away, and the new price is, I don't know, minus 149.76. You get that 144.5184, but we're going to round that, so you actually get this. So that makes sense, right? Because the price was 149.76, it dropped 3.5%. It is now 144.52. Larry's bank account changed from 875 to 345. So this was the old price, and this is the new price. What was the percentage change? All right. New price 345.56 minus the old price divided by the old price. So again, 345.56 minus 875.5. Enter and divide that by 875.5. You should get a negative number. Yeah, we get negative 0.6054, etc. That's the bound necessary. Change that to a decimal, multiply that by 100. Sorry, change it to percent, multiply that by 100. We get negative 60.54%. All right, so I think it's pretty straightforward.